Today we're going to talk about Kyler Murray and whether or not it's okay for him to play football and baseball at OU. We're going to talk about the big news to come out of the Board of Regents meeting earlier this week, including some coaching contracts that we knew were going to happen and how much those guys are getting paid. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Senior Bowl. Also, there's going to be a useless 90-second movie of me running around Stillwater's campus on my hot pink motorized scooter, otherwise known as Boomer Scooter. See what I did there? Yelling Boomer Sooner to the students because I am a child. And all that's coming up after the bumper. Bumper. Man, I like that bumper. So first you need to know that OU scheduled the spring game for April 14th at 1 p.m. at Memorial Stadium. Now this is interesting for two reasons. Number one, we all know where we're going to be April 14th at 1 p.m. Number two, it brings into this question again for the second year in a row whether or not Kyler Murray should be playing football and baseball, and whether or not it's hurting himself, and more importantly, hurting the team if he misses football practices so that he can play baseball. So I'm going to answer that in a number of different ways. First of all, absolutely, he should be playing football and baseball because I'm never going to tell any kid who can play two sports at one time that he shouldn't do that. We all know what a unique talent you must be to be able to do that sort of thing, and especially to do it at the Division I level, and then again at the big boy Division I level. OU baseball is not competing for national championships yet, but it expects to. OU football expects to compete for national championships every single year, and it's not like there's not precedent for this. Bo Jackson played baseball and football at Auburn. Deion Sanders played baseball and football at Florida State. Jameis Winston won the Heisman Trophy while playing quarterback and baseball at Florida State. So I don't understand why people don't believe that Kyler Murray could do the same, except maybe jealousy. Look, yeah, we all wish that we were that talented, but it's not as if Kyler Murray's doing something that the rest of us don't do. Look, man, I'm getting a Ph.D. in English, I'm writing a book, and I'm making these videos. Most of y'all work a full-time job and raise a family. We can all walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. I don't know why we couldn't give the sum allowance to Kyler Murray. And it ain't as if he hasn't proven that he can play both sports. He started the West Virginia game and nearly took his first play from scrimmage as a starter to the house. Now, people are going to talk about how the schedules conflict in the spring. Famously, last year, OU was playing Texas and Austin the same weekend that the spring game was scheduled for. They flew Kyler Murray back to play in the game as a backup. And then he went 9-13 for 144 and a TD. He's fine. This year, OU Texas baseball is again right smack in the middle of the spring game. The weekend series with Texas is April 13th to April 15th. But guess who's worried about it? Not me, not the University of Oklahoma, not the football coaches, and certainly not the baseball coaches. Matter of fact, I read a story in the Tulsa World where OU baseball coach Skip Johnson got a call at 1:30 in the morning. You know who was calling him? Kyler Murray. You know what he wanted? For Skip Johnson to open the gates to Eldell Mitchell Park. You know why? Because Kyler Murray wanted to stay late to work on his batting, and then security would lock the gates after him. That's how dedicated he is to playing baseball. We already know how dedicated he is to playing football. Matter of fact, anybody that will tell you who saw him play high school football is that the man can spin it. That the man is a great quarterback and he's a winner. If he could play football, baseball, and basketball, I would not stop Kyler Murray from doing it because he's that kind of unique talent. And yes, I think that Kyler Murray is going to be the starter come September 1st against FAU. It's not because I don't like Austin Kendall. It's not because I don't like Tanner Mordecai. It's because Kyler Murray was the backup last year. He played the most snaps of any other quarterback not named Baker Mayfield, and he acquitted himself really well. That's not a preconceived notion. That's just taking the facts at hand and saying, this is what makes the most sense. To say nothing of Lincoln Riley, Skip Johnson, and Kyler Murray having frequent communication about what the kid's schedule needs to be and when he needs to be where at what time. He showed he could do that last year, and he did it well. I'm betting that he could do it better this year. And for those of you who still don't think that Lincoln is on board with this, Skip Johnson spoke to it. I'm going to read you the quote in the Tulsa World. Lincoln is on board. You know what type of person that he is. He's on board with it. He knows that he could really help them too. We're trying to come up with a schedule that's legal with our compliance and making sure that he has his days off for football and baseball and still makes an impact in baseball. And just so you know, Skip Johnson is going to use him. Murray played in 27 games last season and started 16. And I'm encouraged by that because it means that the coaches are putting the kid first. You got two men in high blood pressure jobs that can seem to put them aside to do what's best for the kid. Again, I don't see how this is a bad thing. And I want Kyler Murray to have those opportunities because he has a future in baseball or football depending on how he plays next season, assuming he's a starter. But more than that, how many kids get an opportunity to play two sports at one time at a place like Oklahoma? Why would you want to take that away from him? Why? So you can say your quarterback has an exclusive relationship with football? Okay, but I'm not so close-minded as to think that that's the thing that we need. So yes, Kyler Murray can play 2 sports, and I want him to play 2 sports as long as he can play 2 sports. Alright, so Wednesday, the University of Oklahoma Board of Regents approved Phase 2 for the stadium renovation, which is the scoreboard. The new scoreboard is going to cover over 2,300 square feet. It's going to be 38 feet tall, 62 feet wide, and it's effectively going to be 3 times the size of the scoreboard that's in place right now and has been in place since 2007. I think it's also really cool that they're going out of their way not to disturb the clock tower framing and exterior of the stadium. And OU Athletic Director Joe Castiglione spoke to that point. I'm going to read you the quote in the Tulsa World. "We want our facilities to feel like they are a part of the campus, not just look like add-ons. I think the fact that we get to celebrate having our stadium right in the center of campus and the synergy it creates on game day is something very unique. But also, because people walk by it every single day, we want it to add the feel and the beauty of all the facilities and buildings on campus." That's right on time. That's right on cue. That's what I'd like to hear. Because it's the athletic program acknowledging the role that it plays in the university's atmosphere and the way that the university is perceived, not just around the country, but by the students, faculty, and staff who are there every single day of the year. For those of you who are asking about when it could be ready, they hope to have it ready by the start of the 2018 football season, so that's going to be really cool. In addition to the scoreboard renovation approval, the Board of Regents approved the contracts of strength coach Bennie Wiley and new OU assistant Shane Beamer. As the director of sports enhancement, Bennie Wiley is going to make $350,000 a year, and as the assistant head coach for offense, Shane Beamer is going to make $435,000 a year, which is $135,000 more than he was making at Georgia. Alright, for those of you who need to know, the Senior Bowl is Saturday at 1 p.m. and it's going to be broadcast on NFL Network. There are 3 Sooners that are going to be playing in that game: Baker Mayfield, Dimitri Flowers, and Obo Oronquo. But all eyes were on Baker Mayfield when he arrived Tuesday afternoon, and they've remained on him for the rest of the week. When Baker did arrive, he explained what was going on. Apparently his mother is in bad health, and I'm going to read to you the quote he gave to ESPN pertaining to that situation and whether or not he may even play in the Senior Bowl. "Mom's not doing too great," he said. "Family first always, doesn't matter what the situation is. I would never put myself before my mom." He also added that his mom is slowly getting better. So maybe he plays in the Senior Bowl tomorrow and will act as if for the time being, but it would be no harm if you sent prayers up and sent good vibes his way and to his family's way. Sooner Nation is family, and we take care of our own. By all accounts, he acquitted himself best in the team periods, which is what we all know about Baker, which is when it's 11v11, that's when the man comes to play, and that's when you get to see his accuracy, that's when you get to see his arm strength, that's when you get to see his skills as a leader. But also, one of the things that was impressive to some of the scouts, analysts, coaches that were watching the game was that when he wasn't comfortable under center, he spent almost all of his time on the sideline working on taking that snap from under center, knowing that it's a big part of the pro game. And that speaks to work ethic, that speaks to a willingness to learn. And that's not something that a lot of guys, especially first-round draft pick guys, come to the NFL willing to do. And I'm going to read you what I think is the most enlightening take on Baker Mayfield since he's been at the Senior Bowl. And that comes from NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks. "Oklahoma QB Baker Mayfield continues to show people that when it comes to timing, touch, and anticipation, he has all the stuff. That's when he separates himself from other QBs. He hit a couple skinny posts where he threw the ball well before the receiver broke, and the pass was right on the money. He was the last Senior Bowl participant to arrive here in Mobile, getting into town on Tuesday afternoon before heading over to practice, and he showed once again that he's a gamer. His competitiveness shines in settings like this one." Brooks' only knock on 6-0 savage is the same one that everybody's been trying to knock on him, which is, how is he going to operate off the field? We don't know what kind of guy we're going to have off the field. But that just means that Baker's going to have to go in and kill it with team interviews so that he can show that he can be the leader in the face of their franchise. Alright, so we're going to take a ride on the scooter and see how many people I can get to acknowledge me when I say Boomer Sooner. This is my scooter. It's hot pink. You can't miss me. Boomer Sooner. Boomer Sooner. Boomer. Huh? Boomer. You're good. Boomer Sooner. Boomer Sooner. Boomer Sooner. Boomer Sooner. Boomer. have legitimately been on this thing for like half an hour, and I have heard not a word from an OSU student. I'm so disappointed. Over center. Over center. I'm gonna teach y'all how to talk noise out here? Nothing? Nada? Alright, I'm back from a ride from the scooter. Took a spill. Check that out. That not gnarly? It's not gnarly, it's a scratch. But you get it. You know what I mean. Stillwater. Fight back. Alright, that's it for me. If you like the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Deuces.